things that has also come to the fore. I recently read a recent interview granted by the governor to a journalist. He also talked about not being able to visit that place because it might hamper investigations and also rescue efforts. But has there been any forum through which the governor has been able to reach out to the parents of the missing children, of the abducted children?
The governor was in Chibok 2 days ago. It was a very high-risk, movement, but leadership requires a lot of courage. There were a lot of efforts by the security agencies to advise him not to go to that area. Since the day of the attack, he kept on holding back. But at the point, he felt that, look, he has a daughter. Whenever he looks into the eyes, of his daughter, he becomes confused because he cannot imagine how a parent would feel, having a daughter abducted somewhere in the forest in the hands of people, that are very dangerous. So the governor said, look, I must go and talk to the parents of these ladies. I must console them. I must explain certain things to them, regardless of what is going to happen. We pray nothing happens. We will take some measures, but leadership requires a lot of courage. So the governor was there 2 days ago. He met with the parents, and I believe the parents quite appreciate, the efforts of the governor. Like I said earlier on, there are certain things we will tell the parents that we cannot, for instance, say here. Some journalists even asked me yesterday on the need for us to publish the names of the missing girls. And I said that will be counterproductive when you do that. Because by the time you begin to enlist names, some of these girls, will become targets of kidnap for ransom. When you begin to call the names of XYZ, people can easily say, okay, this is the daughter of XYZ, and that will give them the appetite, to demand for ransom. And there are also some that by the time you give out their names, they might even be killed for some reasons, because these insurgents have people that they have marked, for death, despite the fact that everybody is a target to them, but they have what they call high-prone targets. By the time you begin to list names, some of them might become high-risk, abductees. So we want to avoid that. We want to take measures that will ensure the safety of these girls. We appreciate the fact that the public have a right to know, they want to know, but much as the public has a right to know, the right of these ladies to stay alive overrides the right of the public to know. So we call on members of the public to please understand that we are in a very complex situation. The safety of these ladies should be paramount. We should all pray while the security and the youth volunteers continue their search and rescue efforts. There are lots of deployment on the part of the president. I must admit that there are lots of deployment of troops, in the last few days. So much is being done, but so much cannot be said.
Okay, now one of the things that also came to the fore just a moment ago, we're watching a member of the House of Reps saying that the zeal on the part of the military leaves much to be desired. We'd like you to comment on that, as you also comment on the confusion over whether or not 128 girls had been rescued by the military. How did that confusion come about? Was it some information that was given to them? Through what source? Can you help us out with that as well?
Well, I think that question will be best answered by the military. I am not in the picture of who they asked. There are channels. I don't want to blame anybody. The military probably said that in their desperate efforts, to have these girls rescued. They probably wouldn't have gone home with that information if not because of their boiling desire to have these girls rescued. So I want to believe that all of that happened because we found ourselves in a very confusing situation, in a complex situation. Imagine a school, attacked with girls. In our traditional thought, we all believe that in most cases, even during very serious wars, ladies are hardly, targeted. So everybody was caught unaware. Probably it shouldn't have been, as such, but unfortunately, it was. So I don't want to go into that confusion as to how they got their figures. What is important, like I said earlier, is how to ensure that these girls are rescued. We cannot go into the blame game. The important thing is rescue these girls. The military is doing its best. The youth volunteers, inspired by the state government, are doing their best. The parents are doing their best. Let us also support them, with prayers and goodwill. And I believe that by the special grace of God, these girls will be rescued.
Now, we cannot also ignore the comments of the member of the House of Rep who spoke up. I mean, he represents a constituency in Borno State, and he was talking about the zeal exhibited by military officials. We were wondering if it's something you also want to comment on.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you come again, please?
A member of the House of Rep recently speaking just yesterday on Channel's television news talked about the zeal of the military officials handling this particular matter. He says their zeal leaves much to be desired. I don't know if it's something you want to comment on. Has there been any indication, or is this a sign of, possibly non-cooperation from some quarters? Can you say anything about that?
You see, unfortunately for us, we've been having this experience, in the last 3 years. It will be most unfair because I speak for the governor, not for the member of House of Reps. I'm not trying to contradict his opinion because I don't know what he's relying upon. But speaking on behalf of Governor Kashim Shettima, Governor Kashim Shettima has always said, which we all share, that the military has done so much in this fight. They have lost so many men. I don't want to call figures so that I don't put myself into trouble, if I must say that. But I can tell you that so many military men have died in the course of, this. They have laid their lives. So many youth volunteers have died, just like hundreds, of innocent citizens. So, of course, you in an effort like this, you are bound to have people who might not do their jobs as they should do. You can't rule that out. But I don't think it would be fair on the part of anyone to completely condemn the entirety, of the military, because there are top commanders of the military that have died, in the course of this unfortunate fight, and there are those who are passionately committed to ending this crisis. But of course, you cannot rule out the possibility of finding people in every sphere of life who may not do their jobs, very well. But I want to believe these are issues that the military takes very seriously. They are reviewing their strategies. They are looking at the ways of their men. They are reviewing their performances, and they are doing some changes here and there. There are situations where we sit down and we just hear of somebody relocated from Borno to other parts of the country. I want to believe that all these are part of the strategies of the military to review the performances of their men, their combat readiness, and how they handle their jobs. Like I said, and I want to still repeat, the important thing is how we can get these girls rescued. We cannot afford a blame game. By the time we do that, we will lose focus. The important thing is, how do we get these girls rescued? This should be what should occupy our minds.
Well, anyway, as we go about that, one important thing is an awareness program. Well, you're in charge of media to the governor. Is there an awareness program to sensitize the people on the need for them to collaborate and cooperate and help out in this fight in your state?
If there was no awareness programs, you wouldn't have the youth volunteers. These youth volunteers, I wish you talk to your men, in Borno State. These youth volunteers dare the insurgents. They are willing to sacrifice their lives. In fact, some of them have actually sacrificed their lives, paying the supreme price to defend, the other residents. If there was no awareness, in fact, beyond awareness, there is serious inspiration on the part of the governor. If the governor doesn't inspire people, nobody would have been in Borno today. Because of the way he responds to issues, where there are attacks, unfortunate attacks, he goes there, right there, interact with individuals. So many reconstruction reconstruction works are taking place in Borno. About 2 to 3,000 houses are being rebuilt. Most unfortunately, so much has been done to assist, surviving victims to come back to life. So much is being done to get people involved. If you recall, the last time there was an attack in March, at one of the barracks, the military barracks, in Maiduguri, the Giwa barracks specifically, the youth came out. Whereas there were gunshots, exchange of gunshots between the military and the insurgents, people would have expected these youths to be looking for how to hide themselves, but they all came out en masse to support the military. And you can cross-check from the military. These youths did so much. So there is so much community participation in this thing. In any case, nobody has an option. So I will tell you that beyond even the media, there is so much interaction, so much inspiration taking place among the citizens, and I will tell you that the citizens are massively involved, in this counterinsurgency effort.